Okay, so this morning we're on lesson number 172 of the Workbook of A Course in Miracles, and these are review lessons, and we're using the phrase "God is but love, and therefore so am I." And I mentioned in yesterday that if we did have it today, I would talk a little bit about the end of the preface to the review lessons. Because it's interesting what he says about the necessity of the experience, and not necessarily the concepts or the lack of the importance of the concepts once the experiences begin to come. So today, the idea, we practice but an ancient truth we knew before illusion seemed to claim the world. Now, that's an interesting statement. So obviously there's an indication of the fact that there is a world that's been co-opted by the illusion. And we remind the world that it is free of illusion every time we say God is but love, and therefore so am I. With this we start each day of the review. With this we start and end each practice time. And with this thought we sleep, to waken once again with the same words upon our lips to greet another day. And that's the nature of this set of review lessons. God is but love, and therefore so am I. And as I say, there's no way that you can actually teach someone that God is but love, and therefore so am I. Yet there is a way that once you have gone beyond this world to where that experience is available to you, and this has been revealed to you, we do, as this review says, bring our certainty back into the world and begin to offer the truth of this statement to everyone as a way of aiding the atonement. And hopefully, through the miraculous nature of our minds, begin to shorten the time that is required for others to come to this understanding. Because when two minds join and a miracle occurs, it has the nature of being able to shorten time that it would take self-learning. It could shorten time by 1,000 years of learning if you tried to learn without the miracle, which would prolong the need for time. Now, you can't do away with the need for time through miracles, but you could shorten the need for time within the totality of the time that was required in order for the atonement to be accepted completely, and therefore eliminate the necessity for illusion or anyone for repeating the illusion of being a body and dying within space-time. No thought that we review, but we surround with it and use the thoughts to hold it up before our minds and keep it clear in our remembrance throughout the day. Now, one of the things, obviously, that's going on with the Workbook of A Course in Miracles and the undoing of all the false associations that seem to keep us locked in the prison of our own making, the illusion of space and time, is as we undo the false thinking, the false associations that are formed over the foundation that the ego, identifying what the ego provides, we begin in the undoing to allow our minds and hearts to begin to reassociate with the totality of our reality. And the totality of our reality is being expressed in this statement that says God is but love, and therefore so am I. So by the end of our practice, and I'm not saying by the end of the time we finish with these lessons, but as time slowly unwinds or quickly unwinds, as we take our parts in the plan for the atonement, more and more so, everything that we think and everything that occurs is reassociated with our divine, holy, and perfect nature. And sooner or later, there are no longer any associations whatsoever from the identity, from identification with the ego, and all the false underpinnings that the world is seemingly built on will disappear, and the world that has been manufactured by the thoughts that we project because of the nature of our identifying the ego will simply seem to disappear to having never been at all, and there will be the reality of our own, in a sense, making with our Father. That then we will know reality without the necessity for perception, by direct communication, which is the original form of communication. And many of you have had these experiences of moments of direct knowing, where all need to evaluate or judge is gone, and the sense of being one with that which you know bypasses everything about the illusion and the reflective nature of it. So no thought that we review, but we surround with this thought: God is but love, and therefore so am I. And use the thoughts to hold it up before our mind as a remembrance of this, and keep it clear in our remembrance throughout the day. And thus, when we have finished this review, we will have recognized the words we speak are true. So that's another little admonition to say, listen, if right now these are just words to you, and they're not necessarily the truth, because you still are experiencing doubt or fear or questioning as you say them, because you haven't achieved the certainty of the reality of these words, don't worry about it. Don't judge yourself. Don't think you're doing something wrong. Don't think the lessons aren't working. Just to continue to do the lessons as you're being directed to do the lessons, because this is operating with the admission of right now, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not perfectly clear and perfectly true to you, yet it is in the doing of these lessons, and this next paragraph is going to explain why, wherein which this will become true. Yet, here we go, are the words but aids, and to be used. So they are aids, and they are to be used, except at the beginning and the end of practice periods, but to recall as needed to its purpose. We place faith, this is where I wanted to get to. We place faith in the experiences that come from the practice, not the means. Because even though this does seem to be a process within space and time that we are allowing ourselves to go through, when eternity has come to bring about the end of your need for time, in your remembrance and in your recognition, the means that we utilize will simply roll up and disappear, and the awakening that occurs in the acceptance of the atonement by the entire separated sonship precludes the ability for any sleeping to have ever occurred, and therefore even the words that we utilize in the acceptance of the atonement and awakening will disappear to have never been, because we will have never slept and therefore never needed to awaken, since God creates only mind awake. Now, that may seem like a paradox, but I assure you it's the truth of how it works. And as this says, we place faith in the experience. Now, my faith and the way I am talking about how I understand these lessons comes not from the concepts, but from the release of my mind of the concepts that I've used to practice, and the allowance for the experiences to have taken the place of the idea that space and time is real and true. It's not at all. It's an illusion. And the faith that I have in the experiences, because the experiences are unlike this world in any way, and leave, in a sense, mind changed, and in the experience of the light of the reality, wherein which, judgment has no place because there's nothing to judge. It's just one. And again, we really can't talk about these things because they're beyond the words that we utilize to talk about them. But certainly, what we're being told is that we can definitely experience these things and carry the light of the experience back here with us to help our brothers see the effects that these experiences bring, hopefully using that as motivation for them to begin to ask honest questions about what is occurring and why it's occurring, and how there could be a smile on your face and light in your eyes in a condition of darkness wherein which people are actually really confused, conflicted, and continuing to suffer unbeknownst to them by their own thinking. So we wait for the experiences and recognize that it is only here conviction lies. There's no, concepts are concepts are concepts. That's why it says salvation can be seen as release from concepts, including the concepts of A Course in Miracles. And sooner or later we'll get to a lesson that says forget this book. Now, remember, it's saying it within the context of forget this book, and by utilizing the book, it got you to the point where it's possible for you to forget it and to go beyond the words and into the experience where the conviction of who you are in relationship to a reality and to relationship to God becomes a present awareness that literally shines away as much of the illusion as you're willing to allow it to within the limitations you place upon yourself. And as it says in the Manual for Teachers, we're not here to be without limitations, but we are here to find the limitations that we've subjected ourselves to, and then utilizing, in a sense, the practice that we're being offered in this preview and in the lessons, and utilizing that to once again escape the littleness that we impose upon ourselves in any condition of limitation, to escape that self-imposed littleness and use the self-imposed littleness as a way to remember our ability to escape into the magnitude of our being and the reality of who we are in creation as perfect, whole, infinite, and God is but love, and therefore so am I. We use the words and try again to go beyond them to their meaning, which is far beyond the sound. So remember, in this phrase, Jesus is recognizing, not judging. He's recognizing the tendencies of the minds that have been asleep and have been habituated to sleep, necessitating a process whereby it doesn't always seem like success is occurring. But he's utilizing this preview to remind you not to be distraught, but as it says, to try and try again, to go beyond them to their meaning, which is far beyond the sound. And the sound grows dim and disappears as we approach the source, and that's with a capital S, of the meaning. It is here that we find rest. And many of you are finding that rest now. And you'll find that that rest is available to you once you've experienced the rest that occurs beyond the words and the sound. You'll have that available to you, and you can take rest anytime you want, because you will have it in your awareness available to aid you in moments when you feel that the best possible option for you in all of this is to return your mind to that condition of rest. In that sense, it's sort of like hitting the reset button. I will pause, I will step back and let him lead the way. And we do that by allowing ourselves that instant of rest and letting that be our step back into reality as the Christ, so that the Christ can now go before us and straighten the way to that narrow gate. So God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. Yes, if God is but love, and therefore so am I, then the ideas and the experiences that seem to offer us something other than love have the ability to remind us that God is but love, and therefore so am I. And for an instant, if we defend ourselves not against that which seems to be offering us something other than love, we can step back into the rest that's provided and recognize the truth of ourselves and of everything that's real, even within their forgetting of the fact that perhaps God is but love, and therefore so am I. So God is but love, and therefore so are they, in that sense. So are we, as one, God's love. I am among the ministers of God. Yes, we all are ministers of God in the sense that we are facets in the many-faceted diamond that extends the light and love of God. And as we heal our mind of that which is not love through the practice of these lessons and the reassociation of the entirety of our being back into the recognition of the truth of our reality, we become clear, no longer merely reflecting, but extending the fact that God is but love, and therefore so am I.